Noel, I have just finished carefully and thoughtfully reading your email attachment of October 28th, and I too would like to have some definitive closure of this protracted conflict. I do believe, though, that because of our radically different views of events, our concepts of resolution will also be contradictory. All that we humans experience in life, our successes and failures, our relationships and accomplishments, are not facts that exist in a vacuum. Our life histories are seen and interpreted through the lenses of our culture, our past experiences, and our expectations. Because these lenses are different and unique for everyone, we see and feel the story of our life in a wholly individual way. Two individuals can be standing side by side and go through the same event, and yet have radically different accounts of the experience. Is one account true and the other one false, or vice versa? Both of the contrasting views of the event are true, within the context of that person's filter of life. It is their story and has no more or less validity than the other's individual's rendition of the event. The effort to make one story conform to the other, to prove one right and the other wrong, or create a single account that commingles the two, is often futile and probably unnecessary. All relationships experience these disconnects from time to time, and often it is most wise to agree to disagree and take separate paths, as in the parable of Abram and Lot. It is clear from your words that you felt dissatisfaction and distress during your time at It was never my desire nor intention to cause or contribute to this, and I do not think that it was your motive to disrupt my experience either. We have had years of shared encounters that we obviously interpret in radically different ways, and it is very unlikely that our divergent stories of who did what will ever be resolved. I do not desire or intend to detail my view of this whole experience or debate the merits of our varying viewpoints, because I do not believe that this will lead to any consensus or resolution. I will make no attempt to justify my behavior or criticize yours. I will try to charitably give everyone involved credit for doing their best, and then recommend that we go our separate ways. I intend to continue doing my job to the best of my ability and to fulfill my duties as articulated by my My personal feelings and private life are my own, including my view of this difficult impasse wherein we find ourselves. I am sorry that you have struggled with aspects of your experience. I hope that you will find a way to move on, find peace in your life and satisfaction in your artistic expression. Dear beloved, do you really want me to leave? Do you truly know the story of Abram and Lot? It's a beautiful telling of God's and Abram's love for Lot and his family. This is not a tragedy for the righteous. There is restoration and rebuilding, not of a land, but perhaps in the heart. Abram and Abraham is the same person. When God made a covenant, meaning promise, with Abram, God changed Abram's name to Abraham. In a sense, God breathed new life into Abram and gave him a new name as a symbol and sign of his covenant. God made Abram the father of many nations, and in the Hebrew language, the H is very breathy when pronounced. Just an interesting insight is all. Sarai also received a new name, Sarah. You hear how I said the H? It's just a Hebrew thing. When God changed things, he made all things new from inside out. Here are some interesting things about what you mentioned that you may not be aware of. Abram and Lot did not separate due to ill will, disagreement, fighting, disconnect, or conflict. The land wouldn't support their vast herds and wealth. It was their herdsmen that were quarreling. Number 2, Abraham had rescued Lot from kings. That's not a disconnect, that's connection, that's love. They were still tethered together, for there are some things that even distance can never separate. Number 3, Abraham interceded on Lot's behalf to save his life before Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed. Number 4, Abraham asked the Lord to spare Sodom and Gomorrah if there were at least 10 righteous. Number 5, the Lord God couldn't find at least 10 out of tens of thousands. That's pretty intense, guys. Couldn't find at least 10 righteous people in the cities. 6, angels were sent to warn Lot, and Lot got out of the city with his family. 7, the cities were destroyed due to the ungodliness, sin, and darkness of the people. 8, God used Abraham to save Lot's life. Abraham loved Lot, and God loved Lot. 9. If Abraham didn't intercede on Lot's behalf, Lot would have perished in the destruction of cities. And you want me, the one who's been interceding on your behalf, to go. Do you know what you're saying? 10. If Abraham chose another filter, again, the filter of humanity, the lenses that we see things through, if Abraham chose another filter, one of selfishness and not love, Lot would have perished. Abraham chose a better filter, a better way to do things, a filter that preserved life. 11. It's analogous to what Jesus did on the cross for us with his nail-pierced hands. He interceded to save us. 12. Outcomes from our filters and lenses do matter. If one continuously chooses filters that cause destruction, pain, suffering, harm, etc., then we're not using the correct filters. We need to identify it and make changes. 13. Parables were used by Jesus to tell analogous stories so that those who were spiritually inclined to hear would hear, and those that were spiritually inclined to see would see. If Jesus straight up told the people, "I am the Messiah," they would have crucified him too soon before he could get his message out with the parables. However, Lot and Abraham isn't a parable, it's factual history. Yes, there are documents about this whole thing. I didn't make this up. Go ahead, research it on your own. Agreed. Two people having the same experience can view things differently, each with their own filters and lenses that can vary their interpretation of it and ultimately shape choices and outcomes. Alas, that's why there's such chaos in the world. People choose the wrong filters and lenses in which to view things. If you wear dark-tinted glasses, the world looks dark. There is right and wrong, truth and deception, whether you believe it or not. Gravity, we cannot see it, but it exists. It is a fact, and can't be interpreted differently because it's factual truth, which is different from personal truth, and this is where filters and lenses shape our personal truth. It is our choice which set of filters to choose. It will change our path and view radically. Filters can cause misinterpretation as well. These filters and lenses also choose and define the company we keep within and without. That company also influences our filters and choices. Certainly, there are many filters and combinations of them, but it's not wise to choose the one leading to destruction. One set of filters and lenses embraces truth, hope, love, life, peace, joy, light, patience, accountability, selflessness, long-suffering, meaning, persistence, forgiveness, and harmony. It's a strong standard of arbitration, which has an unshakable foundation. One set of filters allows deception, darkness, destruction, legalism, rigidity, confusion, anger, blame, self-hatred, self-protection, mask-wearing, confusion. It's a weak wall to hide behind until it crumbles, and then it's too late. If you want me to leave, tell me these words, looking into my eyes, and perhaps you'll see for the first time.